watching KETK in high definition. This is KETK News at 6.
Hi, folks, and good evening. Thank you very much for joining us tonight for KETK News at 6. I'm Neal Barton.
And I'm Kaci Koviak. Now, we begin this evening with an update from our nation's capital.
Yes, we do. In fact, our capital has come to us. U.S. Congressman Louie Gohmert is back here at home to discuss some of our most pressing issues across the country. Let's talk about Kate's Law. A lot of people are paying attention to this. Just in case you're under a rock and you don't know, woman shot and killed by an illegal immigrant, deported 5 times, a felon or whatever. I know Bill O'Reilly on Fox News started Kate's Law. It's amazing to some. I don't see how any rational human being cannot agree with this, but even Nancy Pelosi has come out and said no.
Well, and there's really not that much to the law. I wanted there to be more things addressed, including sanctuary cities in Kate's Law, but actually all it does, it says on the first offense you have a minimum, well, if you're deported and come back, then a minimum of 5 years, maximum 6 years. Second time you come in, minimum 5 years, maximum of 10. Third time, minimum of 5, maximum of 20. I mean, I would think we ought to increase the minimum each of those times, but that's not what the law does. It's a little better than what we've got now. But some people, Neal and Kaci, have said, gee, you know, this is ridiculous. This was just one event. You're making a big deal out of one girl being killed in San Francisco. This isn't one girl. She was one beautiful girl, but there are several thousand people have been killed by illegal aliens while President Obama's been in office. Now, we know the strength of this country has been fresh water, fresh immigration coming in.
I see it every night.
Yes, but we have got to enforce the law or we lose being a country where the rule of law matters. And once you lose the rule of law, then you become like the countries people are having to flee because there's no law you can count on.
And speaking of the rule of law, tens of thousands of illegal immigrants in the U.S. waiting for their time in court. And a very interesting article, and I want your perspective on this because you're a judge. Judge burnout. There are only 250 U.S. immigration judges in America. 100 of those are up for retirement next year. They've got post-traumatic stress disorder, all the horror stories that they're facing all the time. What is your take on that?
Well, some of them don't have post-traumatic stress disorder because we hear and see where they're just handing out, come back in 4 years, come back in 3 years, come back in 4 years. They're not working, some of them are not working at a terrible pace. They're just putting this off, figuring, well, if these people stay 4 years legally waiting for their hearing on illegality, then there'll probably be an amnesty by then. But when you look at, we're admitting more than 1 million people legally every year. No country in the world allows that many immigrants to come in. We love immigration. But then when you tack on another 500,000 to 1 million every year on top of that.
Where are they?
Yeah.
Well, and this is something I asked the Secretary of Homeland Security. Are you still shipping people all over the country once they come in illegally? And he couldn't really answer the question what they're doing now. But I mentioned before, but the Border Patrolmen themselves down there on the border said, hey, the drug cartels call us logistics because the drug cartels, the gangs get them into the U.S., and then Homeland Security ships them all over the country.
Once again, our enemy is time. So this week, the Republican debate, Donald Trump, of course, is going to be the target. You know that. And he just can't keep basically using generalities, but still, at least he's made, a lot of say this to Republicans, at least he's making the Republican Party face some facts.
Yeah, there's not going to be a place to hide during that debate because he's going to be so vocal and all out there. Anybody that sits back and tries to be political, and I'm not sure, let me get back to you, they're not going to make it for the next debate.
So it should be very, very interesting.
It will be a great debate. I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, I think we're all going to look forward to it. If we can't catch it, we're going to put it on DVR.
That's right.
Yeah, and before we go, we briefly touched on Planned Parenthood the last time you were here, Congressman, but since then, 2 more vulgar videos have been released. Since then, I know you have taken a stance on funding Planned Parenthood through the federal government. Today, the Senate voted down a measure for funding Planned Parenthood, so that will continue. Do you think that do you think you're going to be able to do something about the funding up
For
there?
heaven's sake, we at least should stop until we know more. We've seen enough evidence. And people can talk about, oh, those edited videos. The whole video's online if you want to see the whole thing, where they're not edited. So that's garbage. I'm hoping we will. The trouble is we should have already defunded Planned Parenthood in July, at least until all of this is heard out. We didn't do that. Our leaders would not bring a bill like that to the floor. So September, I'm looking forward to September because everybody, including the Speaker, has to hear from their constituents. We'll come back in September, and I imagine enough people will have heard from constituents saying, stop taking my money and giving it to Planned Parenthood.
And speaking of September, you and Trey Gowdy are going to find Hillary's missing emails?
Well, I've talked
So what's going on with that?
I've talked with Trey about that, and also it's not just Trey, but also there's an outside group that's working very hard, and they're in court, and they've got the orders for production of Hillary's email. So it's a twofer going after these. But heck, they've been able to keep the door shut for a couple of years now. But I think we're making progress to get to the bottom of it.
Well, any progress is good progress.
Well, I would hope so.
Yeah.
The truth needs to come out.
Right.
Sure.
Well, Congressman, we appreciate you stopping by again. Such a pleasure. Please come back very soon.
I will.
All right.
I'm looking forward to a better report.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, to revisit this evening's discussion with Congressman Louie Gohmert, log on to our website, myeasttex.com. This interview will be posted there